Good morning. I was having quite a pleasant meditation this morning, and that made me think about, think. I'm meditating, not entirely thinking, but it came to mind how we often say, we're going to go meditate, and what we really end up doing is sitting there judging ourselves and kind of trashing ourselves because it's not going the way that we would like it to. There are always those pleasant meditations, and it's really lovely when we have one. And what do we do with the other times? Because that's cat playing. There are other things going on. For instance, right now, you're trying to meditate and the cats are roughhousing, or you're trying to meditate and the energy of the household or the neighborhood is awake and active and moving, or you're trying to meditate and the solar activity is at a real high. There are just so many things that can influence the state of our meditation, including where our digestion is at the moment, if we're, still digesting a meal, or if we're feeling toxic or tired, or, there are so many things. And yet when we're sitting, we blame ourselves and we judge ourselves quite harshly sometimes, because we feel that we are failing. We have this belief going on that meditation is supposed to be a certain way, and we're supposed to be able to do it in a certain way, and we're supposed to be able to replicate that result every single time and not actually be fluid and changing, but be kind of locked into what meditation is supposed to be. And that is so much the opposite of what we're supposed to, not supposed to, but of of the purpose of meditation, like why we're doing it in the first place. So imagine sitting in a meditation and being okay with whatever shows up that day. Can you do that? Can you give yourself permission to be real and fluid and changeable? And can you allow for meditation to be whatever it is? Because, sometimes the best possible thing that can happen is that it's very difficult. The best possible thing that can happen is that we have a whole lot of thoughts coming up, or feelings coming up, or sensations coming up, and we have to process them, because we're not doing it any other time. And we have to do it. So here we are in a meditation where we thought we could be peaceful and blissful and stuff, and instead we're facing all of these challenging thoughts or feelings, or even just the fact that we're having thoughts is challenging, or feelings. If we can allow space for that, if we can love ourselves through that process, then we have come so far forward in our progress and have accomplished something really, truly valuable in our meditation time. It doesn't have to be what we what we think it is. I'm sorry, you should have seen the cat jumped about 4 feet high. Um, they love to wrestle. See, let's use this as an example because this is what's up. Here I am trying to focus and concentrate and give you a useful video, and what's going on instead is cat craziness in the background, distracting me, distracting maybe you. Cat hairs all over stuck to my chin or something. But this is what is. Constant distraction. And then what happens is the distractions become so overwhelming that you actually lose your meditation entirely and you have to deal with something. And that's okay. And then you come back and then you sit and then you forgive yourself and you love yourself. No matter what, you just bring love for yourself and accept that what's happening is what's happening. And even when we are what's happening, even when I had to break and go deal with that, there are two ways, and probably more, that I could go. I could go into judgment for myself for not just being able to override it, overcome it, or rise above it, or whatever. Or I can accept that that was the best I could do in that moment, and move on. How can we be more compassionate with ourselves in a practice that's supposed to be all about compassion in the end? So can you see how that's the judgment that we bring into it is opposing the very essence of the practice? When we are giving ourselves a hard time or feeling bad or feeling frustrated, who are we frustrated with? We're frustrated with ourselves. Instead of, what if your, little child was learning to meditate and was having a really off day for whatever reason? It doesn't even matter the reason. You don't even have to know the reason. But their child was having an off day and they sat there and started beating themselves up or hitting their head or something because they were so frustrated they couldn't meditate. What would you do? I'm sure you would be compassionate with that child, right? Wouldn't you just reach out and give them a hug and say, "It's okay, sweetie. I love you. And it's all right. It doesn't have to be a certain way." Or, "It's all right. We're going to do this again tomorrow anyway, and maybe it'll be a more pleasant or an easier meditation for you," or whatever. See if you can't bring some of that compassion and caring and gentleness and acceptance to your own practice, to your own self. And, then we can enjoy the highs and we can enjoy the lows. Because in some way, that is the best possible thing that can happen at that moment. And it's our task to discover how that's the most beneficial thing, how that's the best possible thing. And if we can't discover it, at least make room for it and think, well, we'll figure it out later. We'll be able to see how that was the best. That gentleness is more valuable to us than any blissed out meditation we can do. Truly. The bliss is really wonderful. I mean, don't get me wrong, we all love bliss. How can you not? And yet it can be a trap as well on the spiritual journey. We can get to a point where we're aiming for the bliss, where we think that's the goal. And as soon as we have a goal, or we're fighting what is, we've lost it. We've fallen off the track. The goal is to be goalless, in a way. The practice is to be in the moment and to love the moment and to love ourselves in the moment. Whatever we're doing, whatever the moment is bringing up in us, whatever we're experiencing, to see if we can't love the moment and love ourselves through whatever's happening. This is the biggest thing going on the planet right now. This has gotten too long and kind of branched off into another topic, so I'm going to separate these two videos, make this one into two videos. So for today, we will set a practice of seeing if we can't be more compassionate with ourselves in whatever we're going through. You know, take a moment during the day, here and there, to check in with yourself and see what's coming up for you and what you're feeling, and then having compassion, you know, and loving yourself no matter what, loving yourself through it, loving what's happening and loving yourself. So have fun with that, and we'll continue the rest of this conversation tomorrow. All right? Have a lovely day. Blessed be.